There's an on-off switch on the right-hand side, and you should have a pedal on your right side. Toe down to go faster, heel down to go slower. It's kind of like go-karting. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is I like to clean my wheel, or my bat, I should say. And I just kind of run my sponge back and forth. It's strangely satisfying. And sometimes I have clay along the edge of this. And when I use that clay, when it goes fast, I like to find that center dot. So I make a dot in the center. That's where I know where I should throw this. This is the only time you're actually allowed to throw clay in the class, but really it means you're gonna slam it down as best as you can in the center. From here, it's all about your hand position. So one hand on the side is gonna be for your wall. One hand on this top is going to make sure it doesn't fly off. It doesn't matter if you're righty or lefty, it's just wall and top, if that makes sense. I also like to, this is not ladylike, but straddle the wheel as close as I can because I like my shoulders on top. It gives me more strength. So let's get this started. In the beginning, speed does help. I'm gonna put my hand on the right. My elbow is gonna get anchored on my leg because if I don't, I'll get shaky, right? And so it's like it allows you to anchor, side here, on the top. Oh, I want you guys to notice what part of my hands am I using? Can you tell that my fingers are not, right? Because fingers give weird marks. So you're really just using your palms. So ideally, we're using centrifugal force. Centrifugal comes from the word circle. And when we use our centrifugal force, we're using our pressure from this part of the hand to go in and this part of my hand to go down to create a cylinder. So sometimes my hands get slimy. I just take the extra off, go in there like so. And the more I push in, the taller it can get. The more I push down, the wider it would get. But your goal is to come up with a cylinder. Once you get the cylinder, that's when I get involved. I just check in to see if you're centered, if you've got it all right, right? And I like to check to make sure that you can move on to the next step. Because if it's hard to get a cylinder, it's hard to do the next piece. This is when I grab this wooden tool and I like to sometimes scrape the extra clay off the bottom just to make sure we've got that. You see that center part? Sometimes I call that the belly button. Sometimes I use my thumbs, sometimes I use my finger, but it's like Zen. Like you don't want to just stick your finger in there. You want to slowly find that center point and slowly you can go ahead and push down. What you'll notice is there might be a small suction, so I like to add a little water. I'm going to keep my hand on the wall. It supports it, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push down from there. Okay? So how far down do we go? Do we want to go all the way down? No, because then it's no longer a bowl, just a cylinder. So I go where I have about a 1/4 inch left. So right now you can see how much space is underneath there. And from there, I take my finger, I'm gonna link my thumb around my hand and I'm gonna pull to my palm. That allows me to open it up and I kind of have that pressure. So wrist down, elbow on my leg, finger in, thumb over, and squeeze. Why am I adding more water?
So it's easier to get.
It is, and it's something that if you don't use your, if you don't have enough water, the clay can stick to you, right? And then your clay can tear. So, does this take time? It does. Is your art teacher making this look really easy? She is. But that's okay, because remember, I'm here to help you through this. So I'm just gonna keep on going. I've got a little bump in the middle, I'm just gonna smooth that out. And then my goal is to come up with a cylinder. You might be saying, Mrs. Moore, why aren't you doing some fun shapes? The shapes come last. I want to have my cylinder first, or open up first. Think of it like this. I don't want a thick part of my clay at the bottom and a skinny part of my clay at the top. I need to make sure I have a cylinder all the way through. So I'm going to make sure that my walls are even thickness. From my foot to my lip, everything in between is considered a body, but I can push out the belly. I can bring in, ooh, we're getting a little shaky. I can make a neck. And now that I start shaping more, I like to take the speed down just a little bit. And we'll be able to refine it and do that. Now there's some things that you can do. If you get wobbly at the top, like if all of a sudden if you have a bump, you can use this needle tool. You take your hands both ways, you kind of like anchor down, and then you can go in. Like that. So now it's even, right? Strangely satisfying again. You can take this awesome wooden tool. I love this one. Do you see this big angle? So we're gonna take it and clean up the foot. I'm gonna take my sponge, make sure I don't have any weird, and I can collect any extra water from the bottom. Boom! So when you're done, you're gonna get a Post-it note. You're gonna put your name and your hour on it. You're gonna take this off, and you are gonna put it over on that shelf. Have an awesome day!
You do.